As you came out, the times may change, but the stories we actually care about don't. It's keeping your family safe.
We want to make sure that we are there for that every step of the way.
Tamsin Fidel, Corey Chambers, and Mr. G. We are New York's very own.
We're delivering every night at 10.
Right after an all-new Naomi on the CW Pix 11.
Weekdays on 538 now, 1010 Wins Entertainment. A new rom-com starring Julia Roberts and George Clooney hits a COVID delay.
We may have a problem.
The Australian production of Ticket to Paradise was forced to pause for 3 months because of rising COVID cases there. The Daily Mail says Clooney and Roberts have flown back to the U.S. to wait out the spike in the cases. It's a grown-up Arthur.
Every day when you're walking down the street.
The PBS animated kid show will end its 25th and final season with grown-up versions of the characters. If John Baptiste takes home all 11 Grammys that he's nominated for, he'll do so in Las Vegas. The Grammy Awards have been rescheduled for April 3rd at the MGM Grand. Wednesdays on 539.
As we all continue to fight COVID, there are several tools that we have in our arsenal. Get vaccinated, wear a mask, get tested when necessary, social distancing, and keep your home and business environment clean and sanitized. Molly Maid of Central Queens has cleaning professionals available to ensure that your home and business are clean and sanitized. We are available to provide professional deep cleaning services daily, weekly, or monthly, depending on your cleaning needs. Using Molly Maid of Central Queens will give you peace of mind, knowing that we will not allow the virus any opportunity to jeopardize the health and safety of a family member, a friend, or your customers. The cleaning professionals at Molly Maid of Central Queens are here to fight COVID with you. Let our cleaning professionals work to protect your home and business. To arrange our immediate professional service, call Molly Maid of Central Queens at 718-395-2850. 718-395-2850. That's 718-395-2850.
On this week's In-Depth podcast, the troubled history behind the Bronx fire. Listen and subscribe on 1010wins.com.
The Newswatch never stops. This is 1010 Wins. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good evening, 34 degrees at 540. I'm Lori Matten, and here's what's happening. An explosion in a row of townhouses in the Longwood section of the Bronx kills one person, injures 8 others. There was a strong smell of gas ahead of the blast. Mayor Adams reiterates that schools will remain open, but kids home recovering from COVID might have a remote option. The World Health Organization's chief scientist says there's no evidence right now that suggests healthy children and adolescents need COVID vaccine boosters. As the Senate debates all but doomed voting bills, the NAACP warning that democracy in the United States may be standing in its final hour. Out of ideas for that Valentine's gift, the Bronx Zoo has a roach of a gift for your Valentine. On Wall Street, the Dow plunged 543 points today. The Nasdaq off 386. The S&P falling 85 points. 1010 Wins Accuweather says increasingly cloudy overnight. Low 28. Cloudy and windy tomorrow. High 45. We are expecting some rain and wet snow Wednesday night into Thursday morning. News time 541. Time for traffic and transit. Here's Greg Rice.
Now, Lori, they have been working on this truck that sneaked onto the eastbound Jackie Robinson Parkway, getting over to Myrtle Avenue for pretty much the entire afternoon and early evening. Right now, the eastbound Jackie is closed at Myrtle Avenue as they figure out what to do with this truck. So you've got to crawl back from Brooklyn westbound. It's open, but everybody wants to look-see, so that's slow from Queens Boulevard. The earlier truck in Queens on the Cross Island southbound, that's long gone at Braddock. Not the traffic, though. That's still a factor all the way back from the Throgs Neck Bridge, so you stay with the clear view for as far as you can instead. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Citybound side of the George, fine to the upper and lowers. There's nothing easy out. Lincoln about 15 to 20 in, 10 out. Holland right now, extra 20 in from the Skyway, better from the Turnpike. Outbound Holland, no more than 15. Back in Jersey, 78 westbound. Go local. The westbound express lane's a mess right now from right out of the area of Lacquake all the way to exit 50 because of earlier or ongoing emergency construction, knocking out at least the right lane. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three, bottom to top. Southern State, the eastbound jam right now from right around the area of Malvern all the way to the Bethpage Parkway. Worst of the westbound ride is from the Seaford Oyster Bay back towards Baldwin Road. Northern State eastbound company, not a lot, but enough over to Shelter Rock Road and then east of the Meadowbrook. Long Island Expressway loaded the whole way from Queens all the way on out to 106 and 107. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 Wins.
One person was killed, 8 injured after an explosion erupted in a row of townhouses in the Longwood section of the Bronx this morning.
The cause of the blast is under investigation. We do know that residents in this building of connected townhouses in the Longwood section smelled gas earlier in the morning. All Jasmine knows is what she heard and what she felt.
Really loud explosion. It was like a big boom, and then it was like shaking continuously for like 5 to 10 seconds.
2 sisters lived in the townhouse that exploded. One died, the other is in serious condition, as is a neighbor. Mayor Adams praised the Good Samaritans, firefighters, and specifically the cops who conducted rescues.
They went inside and carried out a woman who was trapped inside.
5 officers suffered smoke inhalation. Rochester and 1010 Wins in the Longwood section of the Bronx.
Wednesday time, 5:43. Mayor Adams says schools are staying open, but there will be an exception for some kids. Mayor Adams says remote learning will strictly involve students who are home recovering from COVID.
Those who are positive that we need to quarantine, we're going to try to find a way to get information. That is what the Chancellor, UFT, and others are attempting to do.
He says that's not for the general population. Schools Chancellor David Banks says individual schools can supply lesson materials for students at home.
We wanted to at least provide, as an on-ramp, if you will, some additional students who would have an opportunity to do this asynchronous learning.
Officials want to increase attendance. Right now, about 25% of the student population is not in class. Juliet Papa, 1010 Wins News. Governor Hochul says the latest COVID numbers show a continued decline over the last 2 weeks. And according to new data from Johns Hopkins University, at least 20% of Americans have now been infected with COVID-19. Wednesday time, 5:45. The World Health Organization's chief scientist says there is no evidence right now that suggests healthy children and adolescents need COVID vaccine boosters. The comments came 2 weeks after the CDC approved boosters for kids as young as 12 in the United States amid the Omicron surge. The surge also led to a sharp rise in pediatric COVID cases. WHO had previously criticized the rollout of boosters as many countries still struggle with obtaining and rolling out their own vaccines. The executive director of WHO's Health Emergencies Program says the agency still hasn't figured out how often or how many doses people will ultimately need. He was thrown out of Australia, and now the world's #1 ranked men's tennis player may be running into problems in other countries.
Tennis star Novak Djokovic may be a part-time resident of Marbella in southern Spain, but the country's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is now saying the world's #1 tennis player will have to comply with Spanish health rules in Spain. This comes after Australia deported Djokovic for failing to meet that country's vaccination requirements. France has also indicated Djokovic will have to be vaccinated to compete in the French Open. In Isabella Katara, ABC News, at the 4 in depth.
Wednesday time, 5:46. A full subway service about to be back on track. That story is next.
Due to Curiosity Street, investing on Wall Street was much like the Wild West. Here's the untold story. More and more people were investing in the market. The history of Wall Street gets caught up in a frenzy on the Curiosity original. The rise of Wall Street. Plus, Neanderthals, rooted and dim-witted, or clever and capable. Maybe we are not as unique as we thought. Find out on who was the real Neanderthal. It's all on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20. That's $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
This is the sound of a hospital that moved into Sunset Park. So people don't have to leave Brooklyn to get the best quality care. Learn why NYU Langone Health is the only 5-star hospital in Brooklyn at nyulangone.org. Data from Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services 2021.
Let's ring in the new year by checking off an important to-do. Your old videotapes and photos are fading as each year passes. VCRs are becoming extinct, and the clock is ticking to save your family's most cherished memories. Hi, I'm Adam Baselog.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve your captured moments by converting all your videotapes, photos, and even film reels into perfectly preserved digital files. Legacy Box is the easiest resolution to do and can be done in minutes. Just fill your Legacy Box, send it in, and we'll send it back with your memories perfectly preserved. Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos. All the work is done right here in the USA, and over 1 million customers have trusted Legacy Box.
Let's kick off the new year right by rescuing your memories that haven't been watched or enjoyed in years.
Order your Legacy Box today.
Go to legacybox.com/value for 40% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 40% off. legacybox.com/value.
Wednesday time 5:48. If your subway commute has been especially aggravating of late, thanks to the recent service suspensions amid the Omicron surge, the MTA says service should be getting back to normal.
As that quick spike in Omicron took over New York City and the tri-state area, it certainly impacted the MTA as well. A couple of weeks ago, 14% of their conductor and train operator staff out sick with COVID. Now it's down to 7%, and the MTA's acting chair, Jano Lieber, says time to get suspended lines moving again.
As of tomorrow, the B and D lines, the Rockaway Park Shuttle, the 6 Express in the Bronx, and the 7 Express in Queens are going to resume service. But this is possible because we are getting, our workforce is coming back.
Lieber saying that ridership did rise again last week. Their hiring freeze they had during the pandemic is over as they look for better news here now in the weeks ahead. Glenn Schuck, 1010 wins, Jerome Avenue in the Bronx.
Wednesday time 5:49. If you have had trouble finding at-home COVID rapid tests, you can now sign up for free kits. Americans can now order 4 free at-home rapid tests on the website set up by the Biden administration. Anyone can go online to covidtests.gov. That's tests, plural, and enter your name and address. The site was set to launch on Wednesday, but went live a day early in a beta testing phase. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki.
Every website launch, in our view, comes with risks. We can't guarantee there won't be a bug or two, but the best tech teams across the administration and the Postal Service are working hard to make this a success.
You can order tests now, but they still won't ship out for another 7 to 12 days. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington. Wednesday time 5:50. The Senate is now debating voting rights legislation that is all but certain to go down to defeat. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wanted the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act to be brought to the floor so all senators would be on record. Schumer.
This is Donald Trump's Republican Party, and it is the one now trying to take away the vote from younger, black and brown, elderly, minority, and low-income voters.
Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
This is about one party wanting the power to unilaterally rewrite the rule book of American elections.
All Republicans oppose the measures. The NAACP, which pushed for the 1965 Voting Rights Act, never thought they'd be in this position again.
In an open letter to the U.S. Senate, the NAACP telling Congress that without a new National Voting Rights Act, quote, our democracy may be standing in its final hour. The civil rights group saying senators are the last defense against Republican-controlled states that it says have introduced more than 400 voter suppression bills. The NAACP president telling Democrats a partisan vote is a very low price to pay to defend America.
Correspondent Andy Field reporting. Weekday time 5:51. Time for traffic and transit. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, the Jackie Robinson parking lot in Queens has been abysmal this afternoon. We had a truck sneak on and get wedged under the overpass over there near Myrtle Avenue. Looks like they're trying to get at least one lane moving again, but right now everything's subject to closure on the eastbound Jackie and the mess out of Brooklyn. We had a truck stuck on the Cross Island earlier, not anymore, but still slow from right off of the Throgs Neck to Braddock Avenue. As far as the Clearview takes you, it's the better play. Jersey 78 westbound locals getting out towards the area of exit 50, going to be the better play. Because 78 westbound express near exit 50 in Union, left lane knocked out with emergency repair work, so again favor the locals on 78 westbound, getting you past the Garden State Parkway. They are the duck-duck-go route you can trust, those westbound local lanes of 78. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Citybound side of the George, good enough to the upper and lower. Nothing great getting out, but getting better first on the northbound west side and southbound Beacon. Looking at the Lincoln, it's about 10 in, 15 out. Holland Tunnel about 20 in from the Skyway, better from the Turnpike. Outbound Holland, no more than 10. Traffic is sponsored by DuckDuckGo. What is it that makes you uniquely you? Well, DuckDuckGo doesn't think that's any of their business. Frankly, it shouldn't be the business of any tech company. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 Win.
Now the Accuweather 4-day forecast. Here is meteorologist Brian Thompson.
We have a brisk and cold evening on the way. It will start off mostly clear to partly cloudy, but as the night goes on, we'll see more clouds and less wind. 28 in the city, will be in the upper teens in the colder suburbs. Temperature-wise, not bad tomorrow. We'll get up to a high of 45 with a mostly cloudy sky. There will be a breeze, though, at times throughout the day, and then we'll see some rain move in later tomorrow night as the cold front approaches. That will likely mix with and then change to wet snow heading into Thursday morning's commute. There could be a coating to an inch or two of accumulation, and that could turn wet roads slippery during the commute Thursday. We'll see low tomorrow night 34, and then temperatures likely falling on Thursday with a brisk wind and clouds breaking for some sunshine. Brisk and even colder Friday. Sun will give way to clouds, high only 22. Still watching the potential for a coastal storm on Saturday. Could bring some snow to the area, although if it stays far enough to the southeast, we would stay dry here locally. 34 degrees right now. It's partly cloudy in Midtown, or going down to 28. I'm Accuweather meteorologist Brian Thompson on New York's weather station, 1010 Win.
Wednesday time, 5:53. Can't think of that perfect Valentine's gift? Well, the Bronx Zoo has a suggestion. Your Valentine deserves the perfect gift. One that takes their breath away, sends shivers down their spine, and curls their toes. That would be the zoo's Name a Roach gift package. For the 10th year in a row, the zoo is offering up the roach naming gift. It allows you to name cockroaches on site, Madagascar cockroaches. The Bronx Zoo has about 10,000 of them. You can name the roaches in your Valentine's honor. For a $15 donation, your Valentine will even get a printable certificate featuring the names of the roaches. Wednesday time, 5:54. As far as Alex Trebek was concerned, a broadcast anchor and author, could have been the next host of Jeopardy! Producers, though, felt differently.
CNN legal analyst and host Laura Coates was floored in the best way when Jeopardy's Alex Trebek said in 2018 that she'd be a great person to replace him when he knew his time was limited.
God, this person that I have watched my whole life, really, could even knows my name, let alone thinks that I would be worthy enough to fill his shoes, which frankly can't be filled.
But on the Tamron Hall show, Coates says when Jeopardy started looking for people to fill in last year, she asked for the opportunity.
I certainly raised my hand and knocked on doors and found them closed. And I asked for the opportunity. I was told no.
Correspondent Matt Piper reporting. Reclaim your Saturdays.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK and two smiling, happy people will magically appear at your front door.
They'll be driving a clean, shiny truck.
And they'll be wearing snappy, happy uniforms.
All you have to do is point, 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 point.
And that junk will be gone, 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 gone.
Hooray! You have a Saturday.
Give us a call.
And we'll give you back your Saturdays.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Introducing the New Jersey Lottery Pick 410.
Got four favorite numbers, play pick for today. Play your anniversary or your birthday.
Play Pick 4 with more $2,500 and up winners than all New Jersey draw games combined.
Thousands win, thousands you could be this lucky. Anything can happen in Jersey.
Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wednesday time, 5:56 now. Bloomberg Money Watch. Here's Andrew O'Day.
The big problem with doing a great job at something is that people begin to speculate that you won't be able to do that great a job again. That's what's happening with Goldman Sachs, the big Wall Street bank, reporting its fourth quarter 2021 results, showing record revenue to cap off a record year for profits. Goldman shares fell 7%. As the market got spooked by trends including a cooling in trading activity and higher labor costs, prompting bets that last year's records will stand. The aggregate cost of materials to build homes has risen almost 19% since late last year. That's according to the National Association of Home Builders. and helps explain a slip in the collective sentiment of those in the home building industry. The group's chief economist says a shortage of skilled labor and rising mortgage rates, which affect home affordability, also factor in. Wall Street started the holiday-shortened trading week with big losses. Dow fell 543, NASDAQ down 387, S&P 500 down 86. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Andrew O'Day for 1010 Wins.
This winter, a warm welcome awaits you at the Breakers Palm Beach, where you will enjoy everything under the sun. Sink your toes into the soft sand of the Breakers tropical beachfront and relax at 4 refreshing pools or in the privacy of your own poolside bungalow. Soothe your mind and body at the Breakers exquisite spa and invigorate your senses at the resort's indoor-outdoor oceanfront fitness center. Enjoy distinctive dining, world-class shopping, and renowned golf and tennis. Plus, the Breakers is committed to making your stay even better with exceptional experiences, gracious service, and unparalleled seaside glamour. All of this and more a short flight away. So what are you waiting for? To reserve your winter vacation, visit thebreakers.com or call 1-800-BREAKERS today. We look forward to welcoming you to the Breakers Palm Beach. Once you stay, you'll understand.
Now, a commercial message.
This is important information from Spectre Law Group, New York's most trusted immigration lawyers. These are exciting times for immigrants. The new president promises a path to legalization, and you or your loved ones may qualify. In the event the reform is passed, it will be more important than ever to do this right. Having an experienced immigration lawyer will save you time and money. Lawyers at Spectre Law Group understand that immigration is your life. If you need to apply for yourself or a loved one, call now, 646-543-0745. Or visit SpecterLawGroup.com. That's SPEKTOR lawgroup.com. Spectre Law Group offers consultations over the phone or Zoom. The lawyers at SpecterLawGroup.com have helped thousands of people get permanent status in America, and they can help you. Spectre Law Group, your immigration lawyers. Call now, 646-543-0745. That's 646-543-0745.
WINS, WINS-AC, WHCP New York.
An Odyssey station. 1010 Wins Accuweather says clear to partly cloudy tonight. Low 28 here in the city. Tomorrow breezy, not as cold as today. A cloudy day, high 45. We'll see a period of rain late tomorrow night that will likely mix with some wet snow into Thursday morning. Could be a little slushy Thursday morning. More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Tanya Mercado is our service aide. Walter Geis is writing. Christina Picard is at the editor's desk this evening. I'm Lori Madden.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins, New York.
Good evening, 34 degrees under partly cloudy skies at 6 o'clock. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. Look at the latest on that explosion up in the Bronx today. Mayor Adams held a briefing late, and the thing leveled an entire town hall and torn through 2 others. Killed 1 person. We'll have details here in just a moment. The mayor also says he will not go to remote learning in New York City, although he says he's still working with the unions to make provisions for kids who might be infected with COVID already. Out of the governor's race, and so Governor Hochul's run for re-election might be a bit clearer. Baby needs a new pair of shoes, and New York got the began sports betting, and the early numbers say, boy, it took off like a rocket. And the truest confession of love as we prepare for the next big holiday, Valentine's Day. And what better way is there to say I love you than to name a roach after your sweetheart? Aww. That's there with Accuweather. Cold but calm tonight. We'll drop down to a low of 28 degrees. Wind news time 6:01. And from the traffic center, a guy who dares not show up at the house of Erica will kill him if he names a roach after her. It's Greg Wright.
She said no pets, no way, no how, so that's just part of it. We're going to go to Jersey, and the westbound ride is not treating you well on 78. The westbound express lanes, well, they don't live up to their name getting past exit 50. That is where you have emergency construction knocking out a lane. So the westbound side of 78, go local west of the Parkway, all the way on out going to treat you better. Route 3, not going to solve the riddle because getting out towards Main Avenue and Clifton, that's a crash blocking the lane and loading you up from the western spur of the turnpike, and now even 80 west after Saddlebrook in on the action. 46, the better bet through that area, and overall westbound through northern New Jersey. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Citybound George could go to the upper and lower. Nothing great getting out yet for the southbound Deegan's getting there. 15 to 20 in now at the Lincoln 10 out. Holland, 15 to 20 in from the Skyway. Better off the turnpike. Outbound Holland, no more than 10. Southbound FDR en route to the Brooklyn Bridge, extra tough from 14th through to the Brooklyn bound bridge is just loaded all the way across. Citybound Brooklyn Bridge doesn't do you any favors. Manhattan Bridge, better either way. Now the Odyssey Lottery recap, sponsored by Jackpocket. Powerball is now $62 million, and Mega Millions is now $347 million. Play Powerball and Mega Millions on your phone using the Jackpocket app. Must be 18 or older to play. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. I'm Greg Rice on 1010 West.
More from the Bronx tonight, where several people were hurt. One person killed after an explosion at a townhouse. And during a news briefing today, Mayor Eric Adams says things could have been a whole lot worse, that the NYPD actually saved lives. Newsman Roger Stern with more tonight.
The explosion rocked this building of connected townhouses in the Longwood section. Isabel lives several doors down.
I was sitting in my chair, and then when we heard that explosion, my husband and I, wait, what's going on? What's going on? And he looked at the window. He said, oh my God, so we don't have to run out.
Two sisters lived in the townhouse where the explosion took place. Firefighters rescued both of them. One died. The other is in serious condition. And police officers rescued a neighbor who was also in serious condition. Mayor Adams.
We saved lives today. Our actions saved lives.
Cause of the fires under investigation. Residents had smelled gas earlier in the morning. Roger Stern, 1010 Winds in the Longwood section of the Bronx.
And stay with 1010 Winds for the latest updates. State health officials and the governor say the COVID numbers continue to decline here in New York. They've been going down for 2 weeks now. That's all Mayor Adams needed to hear. Even before that, he made it clear while schools will remain open, he's still talking to the union about a certain cross-section of students with whom it might be necessary to still offer remote learning. Ms. Julia Papa.
It's the mayor's mantra.
Our schools are going to remain open.
His Honor held a first-time in-person news conference at City Hall, insisting that he's partnering with the teachers union on how to serve students who have not been attending school.
Anything remote is to target those children who are infected, and we want to isolate them.
School's Chancellor David Banks says attendance was down to 63% before the holidays and has been steadily climbing. Officials are looking at what other issues may be keeping students away from school. Juliet Papa, 1010 Winds News.
Let's go to the State House now, and Governor Kathy Hochul rolling out her spending plan for New York, a $216 billion budget for New York. It'll focus primarily on putting our state back together after the pandemic.
We've set aside $2 billion for pandemic recovery initiatives. And I'll work with the legislature to identify the most impactful use of these funds in the short term. Whether that's help for struggling small landlords and their tenants, or the hardest hurt industries and workers, or for other purposes.
That includes $350 million for businesses as well as theater and musical arts. Thought about the arts. $1.2 billion for bonuses for healthcare workers. That's to help fix this healthcare workforce crunch with more upgrades for healthcare facilities. She also talked about money for programs to reduce gun violence and provide more substance abuse programs. So now the big dance begins, as always. The committees will look at it, and then, the different agencies and the full legislature to hash out the fiscal year 2023 budget. Hold on to your hats, everybody. You know how the dance goes. Speaking of the governor and her quest to remain in that position, ex-mayor Bill de Blasio says he's out. He's not running for governor, that is. With that, Samantha Liebman says Governor Hochul further solidified her support